People gasp, some scream, others stare in awe. This is the moment when humanity glimpsed the future, the birth of the automobile, a machine that would not only change how we move, but how we live, work, and dream. Before automobiles existed, transportation was slow, expensive, and limited. Horse-drawn carriages dominated roads, creating major problems in growing cities. Horses required constant care, produced enormous amounts of waste, and could only travel limited distances before exhaustion. Railways existed, but they were confined to fixed tracks and schedules. What the world lacked was a personal, self-powered vehicle, a machine that could move independently, on demand, without animal power. Inventors across Europe had been searching for this solution for centuries. Early concepts included steam-powered road vehicles as early as the 18th century, but these machines were heavy, dangerous, and impractical for everyday use. The true breakthrough would require a compact, reliable engine. The key technology behind the first automobile was the internal combustion engine. Unlike steam engines, which burned fuel outside the engine, internal combustion engines ignited fuel inside the cylinder, producing controlled explosions that drove mechanical motion. In the mid-1800s, several inventors experimented with early combustion engines, but most were inefficient or unreliable. That changed with the work of Nicolaus Otto, who developed the four-stroke engine in 1876. His design, intake, compression, combustion, and exhaust became the foundation for nearly all modern gasoline engines. This invention did not immediately create the automobile, but it provided the missing heart needed to power one. The man most widely credited with inventing the first automobile is Carl Benz, a German engineer with an obsessive belief in engine-powered transportation. Unlike others who attached engines to existing horse carriages, Benz designed a vehicle specifically around an engine. In 1885, Benz completed his revolutionary creation, the Benz Patent Motorwagen. It had 3 wheels, a lightweight steel frame, and a single-cylinder 4-stroke engine, producing less than 1 horsepower. By modern standards, it was extremely slow, reaching a top speed of about 16 km per hour, but it worked. The Motorwagen true test came not from Carl Benz, but from his wife, Bertha Benz. In 1888, without telling her husband, she took the vehicle on the first long-distance automobile journey in history. Along the way, she solved mechanical problems, invented the first brake lining, and even purchased fuel from a pharmacy, effectively creating the first gas station. Her journey proved that the automobile was not just a novelty, but a practical means of transportation. While Carl Benz was working on his Motorwagen, other inventors were making similar breakthroughs. Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach were independently developing gasoline-powered vehicles in Germany. Their engines were smaller, faster, and more adaptable, eventually leading to the first 4-wheeled automobiles. Although Benz and Daimler lived only about 100 kilometers apart, they never met during their lifetimes. Ironically, their companies would later merge to form Daimler-Benz, the foundation of today's Mercedes-Benz. This period marked the beginning of intense competition and innovation that rapidly accelerated automotive development. Despite its promise, the automobile faced significant resistance. Early cars were loud, unreliable, and frightening to the public. Many people believed they were dangerous machines that would scare horses, damage roads, and cause chaos. What many people don't realize is how many failures came before success. Early inventors struggled with engines that overheated, exploded, or simply refused to start. Fuel quality was inconsistent, ignition systems were unreliable, and materials were not yet advanced enough to handle high temperatures and pressure. Carl Benz himself faced financial ruin multiple times and survived only through the persistence and belief of his wife. Some early prototypes could only run for a few times before breaking down. Others were so loud and unstable that they terrified not only the public but their own creators. These failures, however, provided critical lessons that pushed innovation forward. One of the biggest challenges in creating the first automobile was fuel. Gasoline was not considered valuable at the time. It was often treated as a waste byproduct of petroleum refining. There were no fuel stations, no standardized fuel grades, and no distribution systems. Early drivers had to purchase fuel from pharmacies or hardware stores. Lubrication was equally problematic, as engines required oils that could withstand heat without breaking down. Many early breakdowns were caused not by mechanical failure, but by poor lubrication. Controlling early automobiles was extremely difficult. Steering mechanisms were borrowed from bicycles and carriages, often making vehicles unstable at higher speeds. Braking systems were primitive, usually consisting of leather or wooden blocks pressed against the wheels. Bertha Benn's invention of improved brake linings during her historic journey was a turning point. It showed that automobiles needed entirely new safety systems, not adapted horse carriage solutions to become viable. The first automobiles caused fascination and fear in equal measure. Crowds gathered to watch them pass, while newspapers published stories predicting disaster. Some doctors even claimed that traveling faster than 20 kilometers per hour could damage the human body. At the same time, visionaries recognized the automobile's potential. Business owners saw new markets, military strategists saw mobile logistics, and urban planners imagined cities without dependence on horses. As automobiles slowly gained acceptance, they began to change social behavior. Travel became more personal and flexible. For the first time, individuals could choose their own routes and schedules. Early car owners formed clubs, organized races, and shared repair knowledge. These communities helped spread innovation and public trust in the technology. Many technologies developed for the first automobiles still exist today in evolved form. The four-stroke engine cycle, differential gears, spark ignition, and throttle control. These early solutions created a blueprint that engineers would refine for over a century. The first automobile proved that machines could replace animal power on a massive scale, a concept that would later influence tractors, trucks, buses, and even aircraft. When Carl Benz built the first automobile, he could not have imagined a future where cars would think, communicate, and even drive themselves. Yet the core idea remains the same: personal mobility powered by technology. Today, the automobile stands on the edge of another historic transformation, one as significant as the invention of the first car itself. The first automobile relied on a single-cylinder internal combustion engine, providing less than 1 horsepower. Modern cars can produce hundreds, even thousands of horsepower. But more importantly, the industry is now moving away from combustion engines altogether. Electric vehicles replace explosions with silent electric motors. Where early cars struggled with reliability, electric cars offer fewer moving parts, lower maintenance, and instant torque. This shift mirrors the original transition from horses to engines, a complete rethinking of how energy is used for movement. Just as gasoline once replaced animal power, electricity is now challenging gasoline. In the early days, there were no roads designed for cars, no fuel stations, and no traffic laws. The invention of the automobile forced governments and cities to adapt. The same pattern is happening today. Charging networks, smart roads, and digital traffic systems are being built to support modern vehicles. Autonomous cars in particular require infrastructure that can communicate with vehicles in real time, something early inventors never faced. History shows that transportation technology does not simply fit into society. Society reshapes itself around transportation. Early automobiles required constant attention and physical strength to operate. Today, computers can process thousands of decisions per second, far more than any human driver. Self-driving cars use cameras, radar, artificial intelligence, and satellite navigation to understand their environment. This represents a shift from mechanical innovation to digital intelligence. Just as people once feared that automobiles were too dangerous to trust, many now fear letting machines take control. History suggests that trust will grow as reliability improves. The first automobiles barely exceeded the speed of a running horse. Modern hypercars can exceed 400 km per hour, yet the future of the automobile is no longer focused on speed alone. Safety systems like airbags, crash structures, and automated braking exist because early automobiles revealed how dangerous mobility could be. Autonomous systems aim to eliminate human error, the leading cause of accidents. This marks a philosophical shift from controlling machines to being protected by them. Today, the environmental cost of automobiles is one of the biggest global challenges. Climate change has forced innovation towards sustainable materials, renewable energy, and recycling. The invention of the first automobile began as an experiment. Fragile, uncertain, and controversial. Yet the pattern remains unchanged. Innovation challenges tradition, society resists, adapts, and eventually transforms. From the Benz patent motorwagen to autonomous electric vehicles, the automobile continues to reflect humanity's relationship with technology, freedom, and progress. The wheels are still turning and the adventure is far from over. If you like this, subscribe to my little channel and stay informed, stay curious.